Michael Faraday was an English scientist renowned for his contribution to the study of electrochemistry and electromagnetism. Faraday left school at an early age and joined a local bookbinder, and during his leisure time he used to engage in teaching himself new scientific methods. The first step towards his success came when he built the first electric motor. Having deep interest in chemistry, he developed one of the most useful equipments in chemistry, the Bunsen burner, which is still used in the laboratories. He has made path-breaking discoveries and developments in electricity and electromagnetism, which include popularizing terms like ion, cathode, anode and electrode. Faraday grew to become one of the greatest scientists the world knows today. His later discoveries and findings led to the foundation of electromagnetic theory. He inspired hundreds of scientists and common man through his discoveries and inventions. We have accumulated some notable quotes and thoughts by the great scientist. Let us browse through the sayings and quotations by Michael Faraday on self-education, natural philosophy, desire, common sense, opposition, chemistry, electricity, memory and infinity. Michael Faraday quotes. And what good is a baby? There's nothing quite as frightening as someone who knows they are right. Nothing is ever too good to be true. It is right that we should stand by and act on our principles, but not right to hold them in obstinate blindness, or retain them when proved to be erroneous. A man who is certain he is right is almost sure to be wrong. It is on record that when a young aspirant asked Faraday the secret of his success as a scientific investigator, he replied, "The secret is comprised in 3 words: work, finish, publish. Nothing is too wonderful to be true. I am busy just now again on electromagnetism and think I have got hold of a good thing, but can't say, it may be a weed instead of a fish that after all my labor I may at last pull up. I happen to have discovered a direct relation between magnetism and light, also electricity and light, and the field it opens is so large and I think rich. I will simply express my strong belief that that point of self-education which consists in teaching the mind to resist its desires and inclinations, until they are proved to be right, is the most important of all, not only in things of natural philosophy, but in every department of daily life. You will be astonished when I tell you what this curious play of carbon amounts to. A candle will burn some 4, 5, 6, or 7 hours. What, then, must be the daily amount of carbon going up into the air in the way of carbonic acid? Then what becomes of it? Wonderful is it to find that the change produced by respiration is the very life and support of plants and vegetables that grow upon the surface of the earth. I can at any moment convert my time into money, but I do not require more of the latter than is sufficient for necessary purposes. Shall we educate ourselves in what is known, and then casting away all we have acquired, turn to ignorance for aid to guide us among the unknown? Why will people go astray when they have this blessed book to guide them? No wonder that my remembrance fails me, for I shall complete my 70 years next Sunday, the 22, and during these 70 years I have had a happy life, which still remains happy because of hope and content. But still try, for who knows what is possible. The important thing is to know how to take all things quietly. There is no more open door by which you can enter into the study of natural philosophy than by considering the physical phenomena of a candle. Who would not have been laughed at if he had said in 1800 that metals could be extracted from their ores by electricity, or that portraits could be drawn by chemistry? Chemistry is necessarily an experimental science. Its conclusions are drawn from data, and its principles supported by evidence from facts. What are we? Credulous, incredulous, unbelieving, superstitious, bold, frightened? What a ridiculous world ours is, as far as concerns the mind of man. How full of inconsistencies, contradictions and absurdities it is. I declare that, taking the average of many minds that have recently come before me, I should prefer the obedience, affections and instinct of a dog before it. A center of excellence is, by definition, a place where second-class people may perform first-class work. It is the great beauty of our science, chemistry, that advancement in it, whether in a degree great or small, instead of exhausting the subjects of research, opens the doors to further and more abundant knowledge, overflowing with beauty and utility. If the term education may be understood in so large a sense as to include all that belongs to the improvement of the mind, either by the acquisition of the knowledge of others or by increase of it through its own exertions, we learn by them what is the kind of education science offers to man. It teaches us to be neglectful of nothing, not to despise the small beginnings, for they proceed of necessity all great things in the knowledge of science, either pure or applied. I shall be with Christ, and that is enough. Speculations. I have none. I am resting on certainties. The lecturer should give the audience full reason to believe that all his powers have been exerted for their pleasure and instruction. I have far more confidence in the one man who works mentally and bodily at a matter than in the 6 who merely talk about it. What a delight it is to think that you are quietly and philosophically at work in the pursuit of science, rather than fighting amongst the crowd of black passions and motives that seem nowadays to urge men everywhere into action. What incredible scenes everywhere, what unworthy motives ruled for the moment, under high-sounding phrases, and at the last what disgusting revolutions. I cannot conceive curved lines of force without the conditions of a physical existence in that intermediate space. Water is to me, I confess, a phenomenon which continually awakens new feelings of wonder as often as I view it. The condition of matter I have dignified by the term electronic, the electronic state. What do you think of that? Am I not a bold man, ignorant as I am, to coin words? Lectures which really teach will never be popular. Lectures which are popular will never really teach. I am no poet, but if you think for yourselves, as I proceed, the facts will form a poem in your minds. The book of nature which we have to read is written by the finger of God. When the contrary magnetic poles were on the same side, there was an effect produced on the polarized ray, and thus magnetic force and light were proved to have relation to each other. I could trust a fact and always cross-question an assertion. Nature is our kindest friend and best critic in experimental science if we only allow her intimations to fall unbiased on our minds. The world little knows how many of the thoughts and theories which have passed through the mind of a scientific investigator have been crushed in silence and secrecy by his own severe criticism and adverse examination. All are show in their days except the most wise. He is the wisest philosopher who holds his theory with some doubt. Since peace is alone in the gift of God, and since it is He who gives it, why should we be afraid? His unspeakable gift in His beloved Son is the ground of no doubtful hope. The 5 essential entrepreneurial skills for success are concentration, discrimination, organization, innovation, and communication. But I must confess I am jealous of the term atom, for though it is very easy to talk of atoms, it is very difficult to form a clear idea of their nature, especially when compounded bodies are under consideration. The philosopher should be a man willing to listen to every suggestion, but determined to judge for himself. He should not be a respecter of persons, but of things. Truth should be his primary object. Why, sir, there is every probability that you will soon be able to tax it, said to William Gladstone, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, when he asked about the practical worth of electricity. There's nothing quite as frightening as someone who knows they are right. But still try, for who knows what is possible. Magnetic lines of force convey a far better and purer idea than the phrase magnetic current or magnetic flood. It avoids the assumption of a current or of 2 currents and also of fluids or a fluid, yet conveys a full and useful pictorial idea to the mind.